One and all present here. It is a great pleasure for me in introducing our today's guest, Ms. Aishwarya Balakrishnan. She is the 2015 batch MBA student from BSMED. Her passion as educator made her to dedicate her past decade fully in building the environment for young children to explore their creativity and retain their inborn debates. And she is the founder of Kiddo Go and early childhood learning centers, and she is currently the junior secretary at South Indian Chamber of Commerce and Industries. Welcome you, ma'am. The dice is yours. You can do.
Thank you, Sujit. That was a very cute introduction. I feel it my deemed pleasure to introduce Dr. Umashri, Uma as we call her, to tell a few lines about her. She did her English literature in Nirmala College, Coimbatore, and she did her MBA, our own school from BSMET batch 91. She's also a doctor. She did her doctorate in education in the year 2019. Post her MBA, she actually started to manage her parental school called KPM Metric, one of the first few English medium schools in Coimbatore. And thereafter, she took over the management of Ratnam College. She traveled to US for a while, where she again worked as a faculty for English in Princeton School, New Jersey. She came back for good to India in the year 2009, and then again she took over her parent educational trust, and she was managing it for a while. In the year 2012, she started her own trust called NET, Nagaratnam Educational Trust, as a commemoration of her mother's memory. And then the journey goes on. We welcome you, Umashri Madam.
Thank you.
Umashri Madam, the house is yours.
Thank you, Aishwarya.
The session is going to go this way. We are going to have a brief presentation by Dr. Umashri. Thereafter, there is going to be a conversation between me and Umashri for a while, and the floor will be open for question and answer to the participants. All yours, Uma Madam, please.
Thank you, Aishwarya, for such a bashing intro, not leaving any points in my education and in my profession. Thank you very much. And I'm so glad to be here with all the BSMET alumnians. And then I can see so many faces of my students here on the platform. I'm very happy. And here I am to talk about the journey which I have been going through for the last, say, 49 years. And as she said, I finished my MBA and then my stint with Princeton Schools, New Jersey, went on to manage and start the college, Ratnam College of Arts and Science. And then my real start happened in 2012 with the starting of Nagaratnam Educational Trust. And here I would like to have a small PPT which depicts my nice journey. Now I am the director of NICE Institutions, which manages two schools. One, NICE Academy at Podano, which goes by ICSE till 8th standard, and then with the metric curriculum for 9th and 10th. And then I have another school, ICSE school at Pilamedu, which goes completely by the ICSE curriculum. NICE Academy had its start at 2012 with a few students, and then went on to affiliate, approve, and then it got its complete shape in the year 2016. And now the school is filled with kids and up to its maximum limit. Simultaneously, I also started the NICE ICSE curriculum with all my stints and experiences from the Princeton Schools, New Jersey, where I saw a different flair of education where the child's passion, likings, potentials, and skills got the maximum limit. And so I thought I should bring some of the components which I saw in those schools into our educational curriculum. When I compared the different curriculums existing here, I felt that ICSE was the closest match to what was being done in the US schools. And so I opted for the ICSE curriculum, and then now stands NICE ICSE school at Pilamedu, completely affiliated till 10th standard, and I am going to get the affiliation for 11 and 12 in the coming year. I am also having another project in the pipeline, NICE Infinity, for which the land has been procured and the affiliation and approval is in process, which will go by the board, which is more successful and prevalent in the coming years to come. So you can see that in the year 2012, I conceived the idea of starting my own trust and then forming these two schools. While many of you might come up with the question, why at 40? Why didn't you do when you finished your MBA or when you have started your profession itself? Well, there is always a certain period in your life which is very challenging, and there are so many things which you feel that it is out of control. And it was like that for me on 1/1/2011, when the Rathinam institutions for which I was a part of, I have been with those institutions, started the college for the 25 long years. But then there were so many elements, components, forces which made me realize that it is all out of control. There are so many people, so many situations which is trying to overpower me. So I thought this is the time where I should choose what kind of passion I have and what kind of start I need to do. And so I conceived the trust. Of course, it is late, but I had a solid, firm footing at the age of 40. And then even the brand for which I was a part of was not anymore. So I developed a new brand, and that is how NICE came into being. NICE is Nagarathinam International School of Excellence, again in commemoration of my mom's name. And both the schools, NICE and NICE ICSE school, both goes into the Nagarathinam Educational Trust. Well, the next project in the pipeline is NICE Infinity, which I wish and hope will get more accreditation in future with a new curriculum, which everybody would be fond of. Well, there are certain things where you would feel that destiny is taking control of you, and it was then you have to transform all those destinies into challenges, and that was how I felt that நம்ம தமிழ் அடிக்கடி சொல்லுவோம், விதியை மதியால் வெல்லலாம் இல்ல வெல்ல முடியுமான்னு கேட்டிருக்கோம். அந்த மாதிரியான சேலஞ்சிங் tumultuous சிச்சுவேஷன்ஸ்ல தான் எனக்கு என்ன தோணுச்சுன்னா, விதி என்பது பொய், மதி என்பது மெய் அப்படின்னு தோணுச்சு. அந்த மதி அப்படிங்கிறது நம்மளுக்கு எப்படி வரும் அப்படின்னா, நம்மளுக்கு இருக்கிற எஜுகேஷன், எனக்கு இருந்த எக்ஸ்பீரியன்ஷியல் லேர்னிங் பிளஸ் ஸ்பிரிச்சுவாலிட்டி, இந்த காம்பினேஷன்ல தான் I felt that whatever happens, however the constraints may be, I have to come out of all that, and then I have to establish myself and pursue my passion. And that passion was developing an institution where education has a value. Values are laid out in that institution, like how I learned in my life. So that then all those challenges, were all building blocks in my life. The never give up attitude in me helped me bring up to this extent both the institutions. Of course, you would ask me whether I have reached my destination. Of course, no. This is a long journey, And it is a very, very challenging journey, of course, with so many obstacles, because with the necessary resources, with all our risk-taking ability, the challenge which I face and is facing is too huge. But I'm a person who will never give up. The resilience in me will always tell me this is just a small step, a small obstacle, which you can always transform into another big stepping stone. That is how I have been walking through all this life. And so now I am here with both the institutions and with another one in the pipeline, which will also be done in the near future. There are always so many roads, and for me there were two roads, where one, I need to be the tail of a tiger as a part of my previous institution where I can work there. But then another was whether I can be a face of a cat. So two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference. And the difference is in the form of the experiential learning which I have faced to give a strong footing, solid foundation to both the institutions, which is completely based on values and goes on with my passion. I've got totally dedicated team of teachers in both my schools who are ready to bring all my passion into dreams and into executionable plans. And there is a long way to go. And of course, I'm ready to travel that long road and establish my passion and bring the dream, make the dream into a reality. Thank you very much. This is my journey with NICE, and I'm going to travel with NICE, and I'm going to make it well known in the city of Coimbatore. And of course, beyond that, if the divine wishes.
Thank you, ma'am. I bet it is going to be a nice journey. I had a chat with my team, and we have framed like a few questions that we wanted to post with you as an interaction session. So these are quite general questions, and those who are not in the education sector may not know what it is. So I think you'll be able to give us.
Not able to hear.
I'm sorry, it wasn't.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Okay. So there are various boards of education, and can you please tell us what is the difference in these boards? And
Madam, your volume is
very low, very low volume.
Any particular board? They,
Actually, your volume is very low.
You can hear me?
Yeah. Now it's fine.
Now, yes.
Sorry. So my first question will be, there are various boards of education that we find in our system. Can you please briefly tell us about these boards?
Sure. I can even share a small PPT, which I would generally give an awareness to the parents, and that gives a glimpse of what are the different boards available. Within a few minutes, I can give you a clarity on the boards. Well, Aishwarya, you can see that there are both Indian and foreign boards, which are equally popular all over the country. The Indian board, you see, everybody knows the state board, where the state controls of all the schools that exist in the state. And then you go to the CBSE board, where it is quite popular these days. And then you have the ICSE, which is also controlled by the council, New Delhi. And then you have the foreign boards, which is the IGCSE, which is from Cambridge University, UK, and the International Baccalaureate Board, which is from Geneva, Switzerland. Well, I can give you a small explanation on the CBSE, ICSE, what's the difference? What is the... Well, CBSE, as everybody knows, I don't know if you know all of them know the intricacies of the CBSE curriculum. It is controlled by the Central Board of Secondary Education, New Delhi. It is governed by a council called NCERT, which publishes us a lot of books. And all the CBSE schools are controlled by NCERT and CBSE board. Its presence is pan-India, and there are approximately 18,000 schools in India. When you go into the nitty-gritties of the CBSE curriculum, its emphasis is more on science and maths. The curriculum that is framed in the CBSE curriculum is structured for JEE, NEET, and major competitive exams. The science and math subjects here is of more importance from grade 6 to the from grade 6 onwards. More emphasis is given on science and math concepts, and the evaluation is CCE, continuous and comprehensive evaluation, for grade 6 from grade 6 onwards. So all the students who are really interested in science and maths can opt for the CBSE curriculum. But the disadvantages also I would like to state here. Our state engineering universities and colleges, for example, the Anna University and all the engineering colleges here, would give major slot only for the metric and state board schools which exist in the state. So only a very, very minimal numbers of the CBSE candidates will be able to go in for the Anna University and other engineering colleges in the state and all other states also. So the engineering admissions for the state universities and colleges becomes a very challenging for those CBSE opted students. And there is a very less option for arts and literature aspirants, because only the science and maths is emphasized here. So this is the pros and cons of the CBSE curriculum. Next is the ICSE, where it has a council at New Delhi, the Indian Certificate of Secondary Education. This curriculum was generally framed for all the people who would lay emphasis on the practical learning, analytical capabilities, and project-based learning. More of emphasis on arts, humanities, and other subjects other than science and maths. Of course, science and maths is also an integral part, but you have a choice to choose whether in 10th itself, whether you can have a combination, whether you can go with math and science and English, or in 10th itself, you can choose. There is a variety of combinations here. And the 10th board exams is called as the ICSE, and 12th board exam is called as the ISE. So the focus here is on the overall development of the student. It gives more practical knowledge and analytical skills, because you have something called as the SUPVs at every stage of the content. SUPVs is a socially useful productive works, where each content is being described and explained, and the student feels, touches, does all those things, and only then he gets into the learning of those concepts. So more of practical knowledge is given in the ICSE curriculum. And the subject stream selection can be done. Variety of combinations are there. If you want, you can choose only social and then civics, history and English also, or you can even choose 2 languages with a science combination. So there is a choice for even arts and humanities, which is a very important factor, which most of the parents do not know. And there is a great emphasis on the languages also. You can choose a foreign language, you can choose a national language, and you can choose a local language, and you will be tested on that also. If you prefer to, 2 languages can be done. Even foreign languages and Hindi, or Tamil and a foreign language, along with science, social and all that. So you see the combination is of a great significance here, which no other board offers. The students, if they have identified their interest areas in 6, 7, which the school usually does these days, it is very easy for them to have their choices during their 10th exam itself. And English gets the highest priority in the ICSE curriculum. And so you see his total personality from the way he communicates, communicative skills, and then his socially useful productive works, his language skills, and his presentations ability, everything is taken to the highest point in the ICSE curriculum. And there is very, very less of awareness among the parents. Nowadays they know the foreign boards and CBSE, but less of ICSE. And there is scope for all aspirants from arts and literature. And you know what? ICSE gives examinations in a way that the student should understand the concept and he cannot worm it. Rote learning is nowhere there in ICSE. They have to understand the concept and they have to write it in their own words. Otherwise, it is very impossible to take these exams. So you see, it is completely different from our state board. So the students can express themselves in any way they like, their understanding ability in the papers. And that is why the ICSE students can crack all major entrance examinations. In fact, if they are little brighter, they need not even go for the competitive exam coaching. They can straight away go to the exams. So ICSE has a major advantage in that way. Next, we go to the foreign boards, which is getting popular these days. That is the IGCSE, International General Certificate of Secondary Education. English gets the highest priority. And then there are approximately 400 schools in India. And they have 3 different programs where the primary learners are from 5 to 11, which we usually called as the primary years. And then the secondary program, which we call as upper primary, they called as a secondary program 1, 11 to 14 years. And the secondary program 2, 14 to 16 years. And the advanced learner program 16 to 19 years. So the children they don't have exams in between, and they will be able to take exams by the end of this learning period. And then by 19, they will be able to go for their graduation. This IGCSE is popular in UK. And the pros are wide recognition of IGCSE in the international universities and colleges, wide variety of subject selection and emphasis on English and technical subjects. It can be best opted for NRI parents or parents who have an idea to send their children abroad can opt for IGCSE curriculum, but the huge cost. And there is one point where if a student prefers to shift from the IGCSE to other Indian boards like ICSE or CBSE, or even for that matter state board, it is very difficult because that learning pattern, the assessment patterns and the exam patterns are totally different. And IGCSE is prevalent only in the tier 1 cities. And of course, now in Coimbatore tier 2 cities also, it's getting popular, and very less of academic resources or some of the cons in the IGCSE curriculum. And then you come to another foreign board, IB. In USA, all the private schools follow this IB curriculum. Apart from their own curriculum, all over US, they have this curriculum. And this is run by International Baccalaureate from Geneva, Switzerland. There are more than 150 IB schools in India. Here they have the PYP, which goes from KG to grade 5, ages 3 to 12. And the middle year program, ages 11 to 16. That is almost like grade 6 to 10. And diploma program, grade 11 and 12, age 16 to 19. IB has been recognized by all major international universities. This is more of application-based and experimental learning compared to the IGCSE. IGCSE stresses more on the language and the technical subjects, where IB emphasizes on application-based and experimental learning. You can see so many similarities of the IB curriculum and the ICSE curriculum in terms of the application and learning of the subjects. and it is suitable for foreign university aspirants who would like to move there, and for NRI parents who keep shifting from one place to another. And the high fee structure is one of the point to be noted, exam fees and the curriculum fees. And these schools are also present only in the metro cities. And again, shifting to other Indian boards is very tough here. The students will face a great difficulty. And the availability of academic support and training of the teachers is a big hassle, because this is something, new phenomena here, new concept here, and it is very tough to train the teachers who has been completely on a different platform. Of course, the board offers a lot of training modules on and off during the year, where we have to send the teachers at our own cost and get them trained, which is possible, but it is cost intensive. These are the, in a glimpse, I have given you the different boards, both the Indian and the foreign boards, and all the availability in India.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you so much. That was quite a description we had. And I have this another question. We keep hearing about something called alternate studies in our education system. Does that have anything to do with the 5 boards that you were talking about, or is it extremely different? What is alternate studies?
Alternate studies, you mean for the late bloomers or the NIOS?
No, nothing like that. When I was going through, there were in early childhood or from the beginning of the schooling itself, we had other way of teaching. Like, for example, we have schools who adopt a Waldorf method of teaching. There are Montessori methods of teaching. How is this different from the board that we were talking about? What connection does this have with the board that we were talking about?
Okay, the Emilio Reggio and Maria Montessori and all that, all those are the different ways of teaching the early childhood period. It can be an activity based, or it can be play based, or the whatever ways they have devised. Each one has a different way of teaching the childhood years. So each one is different in its own way. Those are all only for the childhood years. For the KG, where the children start their schooling, preschooling actually. So each one is different. Each one is specific to its own teaching methodology. That is the difference between each. Depends on what kind of intelligence they are stressing. Some on emotional, and some on the different kind of 8 kind of intelligence you have. So each Maria Montessori, for example, they will go by all the kinesthetic and motor activities, and then they will try to express all their concepts through that. There are 4 or 5 different ways where they will be able to teach those childhood years. Same way, each one is different. So that doesn't have anything to do with the board of studies starting from 1 to K to 12. This is for the early childhood years, and each one is specific and each one is good in its own way. It depends on how the curriculum is framed and how the child perceives the curriculum and is able to express itself in the mode of learning.
Having said the word pre-KG and early education days, I want to bring in this point. See, these days, at least a decade and a half has been passed with the introduction of playgroup. Starts from age 1 sometimes in some of the schools. Is it really necessary for us to put in the children in, I mean, it's burdening the children in the wee age of 1 and 1.5 into school routine. Is that really necessary? What is your view on that?
I don't think so. It is necessary at all, because when a child is an infant, 1 year or 1.5 years, I don't think so. He needs to have the schooling atmosphere. I think the right age to start with will be 2.5, when he will be able to observe the behavioral patterns, or the emotions of other children, or the peer learning starts happening. He watches other children, what they do, how they talk. That is the time, I think about 2.5 would be the ideal age where a child should be put in a preschool. Below that, he is just an infant. I think he needs the family care most. When he is at home, he is the only child. When he is in the school, he is one among the others. So he loses the special care and concern which he would otherwise get when he is at home. So I think the basic 2.5 of infancy is a beautiful time where the family should be with him. And otherwise, throughout his entire years, for the next 20-25 years, he is going to be in the company of various groups of peers. So that is the 2.5 years is the exclusive time where he can be under the parental care. So I don't think so. Making it 1.5 is just not advisable.
Right there. We are in this COVID days, and scenarios across all industry is being changed, and education has been termed as non-essential. What is your reaction to this?
COVID, the pandemic, when the pandemic is there, our lives are more important. Now the pandemic is over, and now I think education is one of the most essential. I think the politicians realize that soon and give us some order how to bring back the closed schools after taking precautionary measures to open the schools with all the precautionary steps to how to stay safe, or the methods how education reaches the children in spite of the closed doors, in spite of staying indoors. I think education is needed. How long will you put the children inside the closed doors? They need something to do and other than playing, because I have whenever some orders come from the government about all the departments I get, but not about the education department, because they feel everybody can be safe inside. But at least the other boards like ICSE board gave a GO stating that online classes can be conducted until the state government issues an order. But our government has not given any order. So maybe it feels that it is the most non-essential item, most non-essential element of our lives, and we can be indoors forever. But I don't think so. We have to do something to occupy the children productively. Otherwise, it is very tough if it goes for 3 or 4 months, and then bringing them back to the mode, and then getting them into the learning phase is very, very tough. So I think some form of learning and meeting their teachers and then interacting with their friends on some productive platform is one of the most advisable things, even during COVID period.
Very true. End of the day, we are all social animals. My next question is related to the online classes. The transformation has already been done. Most of the schools have started online classes. And how is this going to affect our education system going forward? Is it, do you look it as for the good, or it's extremely in the opposite direction as it would?
See, when you look at the advancement in the technology and all that, and look at our educational field, it's always best to have a good combination of teachers and technology. An effective teacher with a good technology can transform the classrooms into efficient learning platforms. So a balanced combination is always good. They have to use technology, and with the technology, they can bring so many other things into the classrooms. So it's always for better. So I think most of the teachers, if you take in both my schools, we have been giving training right from the lockdown period. And even teachers who had blocks on these technologies were able to pick up the cues and do online demos, and then they transform themselves into technical people who could use so many different aids, and they change the classrooms into interactive rooms. And see, everybody can do it if they have got an inclination to learn. And that I found with both my team of teachers, and they did an excellent job in both the schools, and we were able to do and still doing the online classes. So technology is always good if it is used in the right way.
Okay, with the online classes, maybe it is going to go ahead even after the lockdown period gets over. Maybe traveling to school for alternate days and alternate days at home, or however teams fit. But I think that even parents have some role during these online sessions, right? What do you think the parents' role is while the children are attending the online classes?
Parents' role is more significant because they have to make the child sit with the whatever resources they have, laptop or phone, and give them the necessary time and allow them to listen to the classes, and they have to bring them to the screen. It was the other way around previous days, where the teachers found it very difficult to make the children sit in the classrooms. But now it is vice versa. The parents have to put them down, and I have been getting mails after mails telling that for one child they find it so difficult to put them in front of the screen and listen. And when my teachers complained that they have been getting mails, I told them, let them know how difficult it is to put one child in place in a classroom in their own house, where we are doing it every day for minimum of 20 to 25 children. So let them realize it. And so I think the parents' role is more important, and they have to understand that giving them more of free time and play time during this COVID period is like leaving them always free, which I think at least they have to think 1 hour at least should be 1.5 hours based on their age group. They should make that time productive and bring them to the screen and make them listen, at least understand that it is important.
So do you think the online classes are working as good as the classroom classes? And if yes, are the students need to be exposed with extra hours of homework? If yes, how many hours of extra work do you think every child should undergo, depending upon their age, of course?
I don't think so. They need to have any extra homework. The homework pattern needs to be changed. Like they finding more on their own, and then bringing out with, in fact, they made even second standard children were able to do PPTs on the given topic. So they are also getting used to technology, and they are able to go search and find on their own, at least, of course, with the help of their parents. But I don't think so. They need extended homeworks, extended hours of homeworks, but they can have different pattern of homeworks where they learn technology, they learn to advocate for themselves, expressions, language, communication skills, and they can shed so many blocks within them when they start using the technology, and they are able to make it more interactive in the classrooms. So I think we need not change or give extended hours, but we can change the pattern, which was what we did in both the schools.
Awesome. Thank you, Dr. Uma. That was awesome throw of light, I should say, than what we had. We were thinking like we were against these children, looking at screen, playing all the time in their tab, laptop, again TV. And now what you're telling looks like, yeah, they need to have some interaction, some school time that should continue to go on. Quite impressive. I'm leaving the floor open for question and answer. Kanagaraj, please take over.
Thank you, Aishwarya.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, thank you. And we will start with the questions. And whoever wants to have a question, you can raise your hands.
Excellent presentation, Dr. Umashri.
Thank you,
and Aishwarya. Wonderful. Both of you have done a wonderful job. And you really brought out all the intricacies about the education system, schooling system. So we didn't know, we were all young, we didn't know what was happening when we studied. We were just put into a school, we studied, somehow we managed to do something and come back. So I just have a very important question here. I feel like our education system has been more into, creating people more work oriented or more job oriented, okay, or நம்மள சொன்னா நம்மளுடைய எஜுகேஷன் சிஸ்டம் வந்து சம்பாதிக்க நல்லா கற்றுக் கொடுத்து, ஆனா வாழ நமக்கு சரியா கற்றுக் கொடுக்கல அப்படின்றது ஒரு பதிவு. So I just want to emphasize that we are following different world over, we have different school of thoughts and we are following different systems of education. But don't you think a Gurukulam way of education, which we have been following for so many thousands of years in our Indian culture, and I'm just throwing some light, it's for a discussion, and as both of you are experts in your specific field, like Umashri, you have been doctorate and you have worked abroad here and also managed so many schools of vast experience. And of course, Aishwarya, who have done a lot of homework on child behavior and also did a lot of research on play schools and how it works, everything. So do you both, can you just share some of your wish? You're just following certain systems, the government says this is a curriculum, this is the way you teach, everything is okay. If given an opportunity for both of you and say, okay, this is what we want to create, can both of you give some suggestions or some wish list? Okay, this is the way an education system will be good for our Indian kids. And I really appreciate both of you for the wonderful question. I just expect few of these answers. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Aishwarya, you want to answer?
Yes, ma'am. I have a question. Whether I'll put it in Tamil, which will be more easy. So நிறைய பேர் சொல்றாங்க ஸ்கூல்ஸ் டெய்லி போயிட்டு வரது, டிரான்ஸ்போர்டேஷன், அந்த மாதிரி காஸ்டிங் எல்லாம் கட் பண்ணோம்னா இனிமேல் வந்து வீட்டுல இருந்தே கூட நிறைய பேர் படிச்சுக்கலாம், ஹோம் ஸ்கூலிங்கிற மாதிரி ஒரு கான்செப்ட்ஸ் வந்து ஃபியூச்சர்ல வந்துரும். So that every homework, everything happens online அப்படிங்கிற மாதிரி சொல்றாங்க. But how do you feel? Is it possible in the coming years உடனே நடைமுறையில வருங்களா? But or if it may take longer time to come in. So virtual schooling இல்ல home schooling கான்செப்ட்ங்க. So உடனே வர ஆரம்பிச்சிருமா? But like country like India, will it take more time to come in?
Aishwarya, you want to take it or I'll answer? Hello?
Aishwarya is not audible. Aishwarya, are you there?
I'm here, sir. I'm here.
Yeah. So, Uma, you have to answer my first question.
Okay.
Kanaga,
Yeah.
you jumped up, okay?
Yeah, okay. Shankar,
Yeah.
ஸ்கில் பேஸ்ட் லேர்னிங் அப்படிங்கிறது வந்து, அதாவது அந்த காலத்து குருகுலத்துல வந்து அந்த காலத்து வாழ்க்கை முறைக்கு தகுந்த மாதிரி அவங்களுக்கு வேணுங்கிற எல்லா யுக்திகளையும் ஒழுக்கங்களையும் சொல்லி கொடுக்கிற குருகுலம் அந்த காலத்துல இருந்தது. அப்கோர்ஸ் அது வந்து ரொம்ப எஃபெக்டிவா இருந்தது. அது அந்த மாதிரியான குருகுல் வந்து ரொம்ப நம்மளை வந்து ஒரு நல்ல மனிதனாக உருவாக்குறதுல நிறைய எம்பசிஸ் இருந்தது. ஆனா கொஞ்சம் நாட்கள் போக போக, as you say, materialism took its own importance. So அப்ப என்ன ஆச்சுன்னா, more of knowledge accumulation started taking place than skill based training. ஸ்கில் பேஸ்ட்ங்கிறது வந்து நம்ம என்ன பண்ணிட்டோம்னா, கோ-கரிக்குலர், எக்ஸ்ட்ரா கரிக்குலர் அது மாதிரி கொண்டு போயிட்டு மோர் ஆஃப் நாலேஜ் அண்ட் புக்கிஷ் திங்ஸ் நிறைய கொண்டு வந்து அதுக்குரிய என்ன சொல்றது, மார்க், எக்ஸாம்ஸ் அந்த மாதிரி எல்லாம் நிறைய கொண்டு போக என்ன ஆயிடுச்சு, அந்த ஸ்கில்ஸே சைட்லைன் ஆயிடுச்சு. சோ இப்பெல்லாம் பாத்தீங்கன்னா எப்படி கம்யூனிகேட் பண்றது, எப்படி பிஹேவ் பண்றது, எப்படி ரூல்ஸ் ஃபாலோ பண்றதுன்னு கூட ஒரு 11th பாஸ் பண்றதோ இல்ல 9th பாஸ் பண்ற பையனுக்கு ரொம்ப கஷ்டமா தான் இருக்கு. பட் அதுக்கு இந்த மாதிரியான கரிக்குலத்துல எல்லாமே நீங்க பாத்தீங்கன்னா, எந்த ஒரு பேரண்ட் யோசிக்கணும், எந்த கரிக்குலத்துல வந்து ஸ்கில் பேஸ்டு, அனாலிட்டிக்கல் இந்த மாதிரி எல்லாம் வந்து அவன் வாழ்க்கை முறைய நிறைய சொல்லி கொடுக்குற கரிக்குலம் எதுன்னு சொல்லி பார்த்து இது பண்ணாதான் இப்ப வந்து அந்த ஸ்கில்ஸ் எல்லாம் வளரும். ஃபார் எக்ஸாம்பிள், இப்போ ஒகேஷனல் ட்ரைனிங் ப்ரோக்ராம்ஸ் எல்லாம் நிறைய இருக்கு ஐசிஎஸ்சி கரிக்குலத்துல. இப்போ அதையெல்லாம் வந்து நம்ம எடுத்து பண்ணோம்னா he will be more fit for life. அவனுக்கு தெரியும் அவனுடைய ஆப்டிடியூட் எதுல இருக்கு, அதுல நம்ம அந்த மாதிரி ஒரு கோர்ஸ் எடுத்துட்டு போனோம்னா it will be his interest area, அதுல ஸ்கில்ஸ் டெவலப் பண்ணிக்கலாம். அதுக்கப்புறம் அவன் வந்து he'll be ready for life than he'll be ready for exams. பட் அது மாதிரி எத்தனை பேரண்ட்ஸ் விரும்புறாங்க அப்படிங்கறதான் கேள்வி. இப்போ the education is between politicians and parents, it is not held by the kids. parents என்ன குழந்தைங்க ஆக விரும்புறாங்க அப்படிங்கறதுலதான் the whole of our society is evolving. So I think அவங்க எல்லாருமே, அதுவும் எஸ்பெஷலி இப்போ தமிழ்நாட்டுல நிறைய வந்து பாஸ்கலும் நியூட்டனும் தான் ஆக விரும்புறாங்களே ஒழிய வேற மத்த எதுவுமே அவங்களுக்கு வேண்டாம். ஒரு பீத்தோவனோ இல்ல ஒரு பிகாசோவோ யாருக்குமே வேண்டாம் எல்லாம். ஸோ ஐ ஹோப் இந்த மாதிரி ஒரு சிஸ்டம் வந்து நிறைய நோபல் லாரியட்ஸ கொடுத்தா சந்தோஷம்தான். பட் அது எந்த அளவுக்கு எஃபெக்டிவா இருக்குது அப்படிங்கிறது தான் ஒரு பெரிய கேள்வி. ஒரு 18,000 25,000 சீட்டுக்கு நீட் ஐஐடி சீட்டுக்கு ஒரு 2.5 லட்சம் பேர் வந்து எழுதுறாங்க. 10 லட்சம் பேர் எழுதுறாங்க அப்படின்னா you can imagine how many kids are undergoing this kind of training of the goats மாதிரி. காலையில இருந்து சாயந்தரம் வரைக்கும் அவங்கள ட்ரெயின் பண்ணி எக்ஸாம் எழுத வச்சு all for what? All for IIT மெயின். அந்த IITA மெயின் முடிஞ்சுட்டு அதுக்கப்புறம் ஒரு செலக்ஷன் எக்ஸாம் எழுதி அவன் எடுக்கக்கூடிய அந்த 18,000 சீட்டுக்காக 10 லட்சம் பேர் எழுதுறாங்க every year. So imagine the other set of students who are not really interested. Where can you talk about skill here? Where can you talk about Gurukul here?
Correct, you are right. But we are really proud of both of you. Both of you are BSM Medians and doing extremely well in your field. And you have brought in a lot of new insights, with your experience and all this. And on behalf of the BSMD Alumni Association, and we'd like to really place on record the thanks. We shouldn't thank you, but you're all part of us. Yeah, but throwing knowledge, everything, both of you done a fantastic job. Over to the MC to take it forward, please. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Next we have Shankar Narayanan, sir.
ஏதோ question கேட்டாரு.
Yes madam, I will. Okay. Schooling சொல்றாங்க, home schooling சொல்றாங்க.
Yeah. Home schooling is fine in Kanagaraj, but எல்லா ரிசோர்ஸஸும் நீங்க ஃபார் எக்ஸாம்பிள் உங்களுடைய இதே குழந்தைவே எடுத்துக்கங்களேன். எல்லா கான்செப்ட்ஸ் உங்களுக்கு மெட்டீரியல் எல்லாமே ஆன்லைன்ல கொடுத்துட்றாங்க. virtual classrooms. Even I have virtual professors from Kota who is teaching my upper primary children, both physics and chemistry. But எல்லா சப்ஜெக்ட்டுமே ஒரு virtual classroomல இருந்தா எப்படி அந்த குழந்தைகளுக்கு வந்து பீர் லேர்னிங் எப்படி ஒரு சுற்றுப்புற சூழ்நிலைகளை அப்சர்வ் பண்ணி கத்துக்கிறது, அந்த மத்த ஃபீல் அண்ட் டச் எக்ஸ்பீரியன்ஷியல் லேர்னிங் அதெல்லாம் எப்படி கிடைக்கும்? ஓகே, virtual learning is possible, but பாசிபிள் அப்படின்னா நீங்க வந்து நார்மல் லேர்னிங் இல்லாத சமயத்துல virtual learning ஓகேவே ஒழிய, or a portion of it can be a virtual learning ஒழிய, totally home schooling or totally virtual learning அப்படிங்கிறது வந்து I think so many aspects of the child won't get an exposure. நம்ம வந்து நிறைய ஸ்கில்ஸ் பேசுவோம், லிசனிங் ஸ்கில்ஸ், LSRW ன்னு சொல்லுவோம். அந்த ஸ்கில்ஸ் it will be more based on what he observes the teacher doing, his peer group doing and all that. So அதெல்லாம் அவன் எங்க போய் கத்துப்பான்? Will he become a very efficient or good communicator when he sits alone, watches virtual classrooms, just absorbs what is there and then writes? I don't know. I am not a great supporter of a complete homeschooling or complete virtual classrooms. Maybe a few or wherever it is important.
Understood. Yeah. Thank you, ma'am. And we have Shankar Narayanan sir with the next question.
Thank you, Kangaraj. Umashri madam, excellent presentation. Aishwarya, supportive questions and her inputs. It was nice. I just have a couple of few doubts, ma'am. In now, a lot of schools today, what they do is they collect a big amount of fee, which will include breakfast, lunch, evening snacks, school bus. All these things will be included, and a lump sum of amount is collected by the school. This is point number one. Point number two, the COVID situation, lockdown plus nariya pair, they are losing their job also, or people are given a cut in salary and all those things. In such scenario, many actually feel that they will not be able to pay the full fees. So in such scenario, and the third point is, government is also suggesting you keep classes on alternate days or have 50% student attendance. இந்த மாதிரிலாம் நிறைய suggestions கொடுத்துட்டு இருக்காங்க. On such situations, if you have to take this to a virtual class or a Zoom learning or learning through webinar அந்த மாதிரி கொண்டு வந்துட்டீங்கன்னா, will you reduce the fees? Now you know, not nice school alone, as such the schools which are there in Tamil Nadu, நீங்க ஏதாவது இந்த பிரேக்ஃபாஸ்ட் லஞ்ச் இந்த ஸ்நாக்ஸ் எல்லாம் இருக்காது, ஸ்கூல் பஸ் இருக்காது, ஸோ ஏதாவது ஃபீஸ்ல குறைப்பீங்களா? அதே மாதிரி கன்சிடரிங் இப்போ வந்து ஒருத்தவங்க வந்து இஎம்ஐ கட்டிட்டு இருக்காங்கன்னா அவங்க மொரட்டோரியம் வாங்கிட்டு நாங்க லேட்டா கட்டுறோன்றாங்க. ஸோ இந்த மாதிரி ஃபீஸ் ஸ்ட்ரக்சர்ஸ்ல ஏதாவது கொடுப்பீங்களா? ஏன்னா ஆஃப்டர் திஸ் சிச்சுவேஷன் தெரியல இன்னும் எத்தனை பேர் வந்து they can afford to pay the fees. அது ஒரு தலையாய கடமையா இருக்குமா அப்படின்னு தெரியாம கனகராஜ் சொன்ன மாதிரி ஹோம் ஸ்கூலிங்க்கு ஆட் பண்ணணும்னு நினைக்கிறவங்க நிறைய பேர் இருக்காங்க. So I want your views on that.
ஃபர்ஸ்ட் வந்து நீங்க கேட்டது வந்து whether fees will be reduced இல்லையா?
ஆமா,
fees will be reduced னா of course. இப்ப பாருங்க, சாப்பாடு போடல அப்படின்னா நாங்க வந்து எந்த ஸ்கூலுமே டிஃப்ரெண்ட் காம்பனன்ஸா காமிச்சிடும். டிரான்ஸ்போர்ட்டுக்கு இவ்வளோ, ஃபுட் அண்ட் ஸ்நாக்குக்கு இவ்வளோ, வேற எக்ஸ்ட்ரா கரிக்குலருக்கு இவ்வளோன்னு காமிச்சிடும். அப்போ சப்போஸ் தோஸ் திங்ஸ் ஆர் நாட் பீங் கிவன் ஆஃபர்டுன்னா அது கண்டிப்பா அதை வந்து நம்ம கம்மி பண்ணி தான் ஆகணும் அஃப்கோர்ஸ். அப்புறம் யூ கமிங் டு த செகண்ட் கொஸ்டின், வெதர் ஆன் வர்ச்சுவல் கிளாஸ் ரூம்ஸ்ல பண்ணும்போது ஃபீஸ் கம்மி பண்ணுவீங்களான்னு. See, virtual classrooms la pannanalum the staff should be paid the same salary whoever is working. So அந்த aspectல வந்து அதுக்காக ஃபீஸ் கம்மி பண்ண முடியாது. of course மத்த காம்பனன்ட்ஸ்க்காக பண்ணிக்கலாம். அப்புறம் வந்து வீட்ல இருந்துட்டே பண்ணும்போது நம்ம வந்து என்னதான் வீட்ல இருந்து கொடுத்தாலும் ஆன்லைன் கிளாஸஸ் கொடுத்தாலும் டீச்சர்ஸ் பே பண்ணி தான் ஆகணும். அப்ப நீங்க சொன்னீங்க ஸ்டேட் கவர்மெண்ட் வந்து இந்த மாதிரி பண்ணுங்க, அந்த மாதிரி பண்ணுங்க, ஆன்லைன் கிளாஸஸ் நடத்துங்க. ஆன்லைன் கிளாஸஸ் நடத்துங்கனால யாரும் சொல்லல நம்ம கவர்மெண்ட், பட் நம்ம பண்ணணும். பட் அவங்களுக்கும் நம்ம பே பண்ணி தான் ஆகணும். பே பண்ணுங்கன்னு சொல்றாங்க. ஃபீஸ்ல வந்து பேரண்ட்ஸ் எப்ப வேணாலும் வந்து நாங்க 2 இன்ஸ்டால்மெண்டா 3 இன்ஸ்டால்மெண்டா கட்டுறோம்னு சொன்னா ஆல்வேஸ் வெல்கம். we are ready to accept their hues and cries, and especially இந்த உலகத்திலேயே முதல் முறையா நடந்த இப்படிப்பட்ட ஒரு பேண்டமிக்குக்காக இந்த அளவுக்கு கூட ஒரு கம்பேஷனேட் மனிதாபிமானம் இல்ல அப்படின்னா then there is no use of people like us being in education. ஒரு மனுஷனோட கஷ்டத்தை புரிஞ்சுக்கலன்னா அப்புறம் what are we going to teach our children? We are all striving hard to evolve children into compassionate human beings தான். சோ பேரண்ட்ஸ் வந்து சொன்னாங்கன்னா நாங்க இந்த மாதிரி கட்டிடுறோம்னு சொன்னா கண்டிப்பா நாங்க வந்து அதை வந்து ஸ்லாட் போட்டு இந்த மாதிரி நீங்க கட்டுங்கன்னு சொல்லுவோம். அதையும் நம்ம பண்ணியிருக்கோம் இப்பவும். சோ தட் இஸ் வெல்கம். ஆனா ஒரு விஷயங்க, ஸ்டாஃபுக்கு சேலரி கொடுங்கன்னு சொல்றாங்க. ஆனா ஒரு ஸ்மைல்டா ஒரு பேப்பர்ல வந்து ஃபீஸ் கட்டாதீங்க, கட்ட வேண்டாம் இப்போ அப்படின்னா it is a big problem for the school. Whatever staff they have, though not extracurricular co-curricular, அவங்கள அண்டர்ஸ்டாண்ட் பண்ணிக்கிட்டாங்க, ஓகே பண்ண வேண்டாம்னு சொல்லிட்டு. அப்புறம் இப்ப வந்து அவங்கள தவிர மீதி இருக்கிற ஸ்டாஃப்க்கு நம்ம பே பண்ணி தான் ஆகணும். So if parents come forward and ask us for equal division of payment, of course we are welcome. They are welcome.
Sure. The alternate daysல classes அப்படினு சொல்லி இருந்தது, அது அத பத்தி உங்களோட view?
Personally, if you ask me, education itself is a continuous process. It cannot be done like that. Absolutely not possible. இன்னைக்கு டெய்லி வர்றவனைவே உன்னை பண்ண வைக்கிறது வந்து தலையாய காரியமா இருக்கும்போது ஆல்டர்னேட் டேஸ்ல வந்துட்டு போனா அடுத்த நாள் ஃபுல்லா அவன் தூங்கிட்டு இருப்பான். அதுக்கு அடுத்த நாள் எந்திரிச்சு வந்து அவனை கேட்கும் போதுதான் அவனுக்கு ஞாபகமே வரும் என்ன சொன்னோன்னு. டெய்லி கொடுக்கறதவே பண்ணாதப்போ ஆல்டர்னேட் டேஸ் எல்லாம் வந்து I think it is a very very far-fetched idea.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Next we have Nishant. Nishant.
Ma'am, good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
Wonderful presentation, ma'am, and a nice interactive session also, ma'am.
Thank you.
Ma'am, I just have a few questions. So for any school, teachers are the pillars for any success. So what qualities do you look in for a teacher at your school? That is question number 1. And if you see the topmost, question number 2, the topmost CEOs and all, if you see, they were very, very average at studies. So still, I believe in many schools, they want the child to study, learn and study more only. But how do you tap the hidden potential from a student? And final question is, you said that there is not much scope for, for arts curriculum in CBSE. but I am not sure with that point, ma'am. Can you just elaborate on that?
See, the whole first point, like what qualities you expect in a teacher. A teacher should have the qualities to be patient, try to understand even the last student in the class. Last student na late bloomers நாங்க சொல்லுவோம். ஒரு லாஸ்ட் பெஞ்ச்ல உட்கார்ந்திருக்க புரியாத ஒரு குழந்தைக்கு கூட புரியற மாதிரி சொல்லி கொடுக்கிற டீச்சர் தான் ஒரு குட் டீச்சர். So அவங்களுடைய கிளாஸ் மெத்தடாலஜிஸ் எல்லாமே it should be aimed at making that last student understand than the bright students. So I look for qualities in a teacher who is patient with all the kids, try to identify even the late bloomers, and then able to structure her instructional methods in such a way that even the last benchers, however naughty they are, to make them understand and அவங்களுக்கு இருக்கிற என்ன குவாலிட்டிஸ் இருக்கு. of course every child has its own potential, his or her own potential. அந்த குறும்ப கூட நம்ம மாத்தி ஒரு அன்புனால கொண்டு வர முடியும் அப்படிங்கறதுல ஆழமான நம்பிக்கை எனக்கு இருக்குங்க. அந்த மாதிரியான குவாலிட்டிஸ் இருக்கிற டீச்சர்ஸை எடுத்து ட்ரெயின் பண்றதுதான் மை பேஷன். ரெண்டாவது நீங்க கேட்டது வந்து ஆர்ட்ஸ் அண்ட் இதுக்கு இல்லைன்னு. ஃபார் எக்ஸாம்பிள் நீங்க சிபிஎஸ்சில போயிட்டீங்கன்னா அதோடைய புக்ஸ், அதோட ட்ரைனிங் எல்லாமே நீங்க பாத்தீங்கன்னா மேத் சயின்ஸை பேஸ் பண்ணி தான் அவங்களுடைய எம்பசிஸே இருக்கும். நீங்க எந்த சிபிஎஸ்சி ஸ்கூல்ல இப்ப போய் சேர்ந்தீங்கன்னாலும் ஹாஃப் டே வந்து ஆஃப்டர் 9th ஹாஃப் டே வந்து புக்ஸ் எடுப்பாங்க, ஹாஃப் டே வந்து நீட் ஜேஇ என்ட்ரன்ஸ், ஐஐடி ஜேஇக்கும் நீட்டுக்கும் என்ட்ரன்ஸ் டுவர்ட்ஸ் தட் தான் போயிட்டு இருக்காங்க. இப்ப அப்படி போகும்போது இந்த ஆர்ட்ஸ் அண்ட் சயின்ஸுக்கு என்ன உங்களுக்கு எம்பசிஸ் இருக்கும்? அங்க ஸ்டாஃப்களும் அதுக்கு இம்பார்ட்டன்ஸ் கொடுக்கறது இல்ல, அந்த கரிக்குலமும் அதுக்கு இம்பார்ட்டன்ஸ் கொடுக்கறது இல்ல. எல்லா சிபிஎஸ்இ ஸ்கூல்ஸுமே they go for NEET, JEE, IIT JEE and NEET coaching only. In fact, the whole curriculum itself is like that. நீங்க அந்த books பார்த்தாலே தெரியும். It emphasizes more on those things. I am not telling they're totally avoiding arts and humanities, of course, but அவங்களுடைய முக்கியத்துவம் எதுலன்னு பாத்தீங்கன்னா science and maths தான்.
Okay, fine. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you, madam. We have a chat question. How do you translate your passion to your teachers within your school, and how do they carry their passion towards your school's vision, and how do you measure the teachers subjectively, not quantitatively? They are asking how to measure your teachers subjectively. This question is by Mr. Vijay.
Okay, the first question. How do you transform the passion into the teachers அப்படின்னா, நான் என்ன நினைப்பேன்னா எப்பயுமே நம்ம ஒரு பேஷன் வச்சு அதை டுவர்ட்ஸ் தட் மூவ் பண்ணும்போது not that everybody in front of you will be able to understand what you feel inside you. The best way to do that, to pass on that passions and dreams to whoever is there in your team, is to make them bite into your passion, to express how much you are involved with the school, what all you would like to bring your school into, what is the next step forward. இதையெல்லாம் அவங்களுக்கு எக்ஸ்பிரஸ் பண்ணிட்டே இருக்கணும். எக்ஸ்பிரஸ் பண்றது போக அவங்கள ஆஃபன் மீட்டிங்ஸ்ல மீட் பண்ணும் போதெல்லாம் அந்த ஸ்மால் எக்ஸிகியூஷனபிள் பிளான்ஸ் அவங்களுக்கு சொல்லி கொடுத்துட்டே இருந்தோம்னா அவங்களும் அவங்க நம்மளோட பேஷன் வந்து அவங்களுக்கு அட்லீஸ்ட் ஒரு 60 to 75% they will be able to envisage your dreams and visions about the institution. The only way to do it, express it whenever, wherever possible, and that is possible only through holding meetings often and then expressing it to them. The second question was?
Yes, ma'am. I'm reading it now. Just a minute. How do they carry their passion towards your school's vision?
That's what I said. இன்னொன்னு நீங்க என்ன கேட்டீங்கன்னா குவாலிட்டி எப்படி வந்து மெஷர் பண்ணுவீங்கன்னு கேட்டீங்க. That was the second question.
Yes.
First was I told you I will make them bite into my vision by expressing it. That is how I transform the vision. Second வந்து qualitative. See, the school இது பாத்தீங்கன்னா கிளாஸ் ரூம்ஸ் பாத்தீங்கன்னா ஒவ்வொரு டீச்சருக்கும் நம்ம ட்ரெயின் பண்ணி தான் அவங்கள விடுறோம். Everyday what they should do அப்படிங்கிறது தெரியும். How they should do the structural, the pedagogy சொல்லுவோம். Those are the structural methods. how they should explain the concept to the children அப்படிங்கறதே நாங்க சொல்லி கொடுத்துருவோம். Apart from the content, you have this pedagogy, and these apart from the structural pedagogy, you have the assessment methods also. So இது மூணும் சேர்ந்ததுதான் ஒரு கரிக்குலம். கரிக்குலம்னு நீங்க பாத்தீங்கன்னா ICSE கரிக்குலம் ஆகும், CBSE கரிக்குலம் ஆகும், இந்த மூணு காம்பனன்ட்டும் இருக்கும். இந்த மூணு காம்பனன்ட்ல ஃபர்ஸ்ட் வருது your content or the syllabus which is there in the books. Second is the pedagogy, the instructional methods which you train the teachers how they should do, and the last is the assessment. அந்த மூணுலயுமே அந்த டீச்சர் வந்து எப்படி பண்ணணும் அப்படிங்கறத நீங்க ட்ரெயின் பண்ணிட்டே இருந்தாதான் they will be able to raise their bar. Avanga, of course, they will not be doing 100% right on the first day. Everyday observations by the coordinate teachers who are also well trained in these methods, they will go observe, and every day there will be feedback to those teachers of how they can equip themselves with the instructional methods or the pedagogy, or how they can make the children more curious, and all these are the different components of the pedagogy. So that is how through constant monitoring and mentoring by the coordinators, principal, we will analyze and evaluate the quality of a teacher.
Yeah, super. Last question. Time is up, but we will have a few more minutes. The last question is from Rajshekhar sir. From yes sir. Yeah. Sir, just a minute. Network connection. Yeah. Yes sir.
Yeah. Excellent, Uma.
Thank you, Raj.
See, it's not a question. I just wanted to add some of the perspective shared by Shankar as well as by you. As a parent, lot of questions were there on I'm lucky my son is now coming out of schools. Like otherwise, I always used to feel that Saturday school வைக்கலாம். Okay, I always feel that like
okay,
we always feel Saturday school இருந்துச்சுன்னா நல்லா இருந்திருக்கும் இங்க இருந்து இது பண்றதோட, because like I always appreciate more than the children spending time in with us, the more the time they spend in the school, that actually changes their perspective in life and other things. Yes. That is what Shankar, when he said like Gurukulam actually, like I always feel that when children stays with us for their up to 12 and they are not exposing themselves, it is like when you are with the people, teachers, their own friends and other people, their behaviors and other things tend to change. On the perspective la paatha, it is Gurukulam is far better. Shankar view la I also feel that way. Like so you people are like keeping our children for most of the day. I always appreciate the efforts. And myself and my wife always think like Saturday Sunday go to or session of this, it would be better. So thank you so much for all your efforts for keeping our children on a good level. That's only a perspective from our side. Like,
sure. Illa, I understand the Gurukul concept, but see, அப்ப வந்து அவங்க அங்க இருக்கும்போது அவங்களுக்கு இவ்வளவு எக்ஸ்போஷர் எல்லாம் இல்ல ராஜ். லைக் டெக்னாலஜி எக்ஸ்போஷரோ வேற எத்தனையோ விஷயங்களை நீ பாத்தீங்கன்னா அப்பெல்லாம் ரொம்ப லிமிட்டட் தான். இப்போ ஹாஸ்டல் அப்படின்னாலே அதுல ஹாஸ்டலோ ஒரு டோட்டலி அவே ஃப்ரம் த பேரண்ட்ஸ், டோட்டலி இன் அதர் செட்டப் அப்படின்னாலே the what to say, according my view is the dangers are more eminent than the advantages these days. அவனோட பர்சனாலிட்டியே மாறிடுது ஃபார் நாட் ஃபார் த குட். அப்ப வந்து நம்ம குருக்கள் எல்லாம் அவ்வளவு ஸ்ட்ராங்கா இருந்தாங்க. They were able to imbibe the qualities of the guru and transform themselves into good citizens. But now, since the Western culture has caught up with all aspects of our education, and we are not able to control the students in most of the ways, and freedom is the buzzword now. So what happens is, namma teachers or institution or influence on the students is very limited these days. They are influenced by so many other things. So அப்ப என்னன்னா நீ குருக்குள்ள இருக்கிற டிரான்ஸ்ஃபர்மேஷன் வந்து இப்ப இருக்காது when you put a child in a different atmosphere.
Yeah, thank you ma'am, and we invite Dhanavel sir to sum up today's session.
Yeah, good evening, everybody.
Hello, Dhanavelu.
Dhanavel, you can also introduce yourself, Dhanavel. Thank you.
Yeah, I am Dhanavel from Tirupur. I belong to the, of course, 89-91 batch, and I am into government business as in in the name of S&D Connections. Yeah, okay. And it was a very interactive, very good and a very good interactive session. Our classmate, Ms. Uma, she has shared her life experience with all of us. She has given us greater insights into the education industry and the various boards and their curriculum which are available in the Indian education scenario. Also, her life experience will be a great motivation factor for all the young management students and also upcoming entrepreneurs. She made clear that the ICSE board has equal scope for science, arts, and literature, which enables them to crack all the major competitive exams easily. And also, we all had a very good interactive session for more than, I think, 40-45 minutes, in which he enlightened us with all the new nuances of the education industry. I take this opportunity to wish her all success in her future endeavors, including the new project she was mentioning. No, I forgot the name.
Nice Infinity. Nice Infinity.
Infinity. Sorry. Nice Infinity. Yeah. Okay. And then thank you all.
Thank you, Dan.
See you all again tomorrow with another session. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Sure,
Thank
sir.
you, Dan.
Thank you all. See you all. Bye.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Wonderful. Wish you all the
Bye.
best. Bye. Good night.
Thank you. Bye. Good night.
Thank you. Good luck.
Thanks.